I'm here today at the collection of Jane Weitzmann, an incredible curator of over 50 vehicles here at her purpose-built storage facility. Let's go and take a look and see what she's got. Toyota 2000 GT, first car that we're going to look at, and definitely one of the most beautiful ones here, in my opinion. I think probably the opinion of many other people.
Certainly in mine.
It's a gorgeous car to look at, isn't it? What's the history with these in the country? Because there aren't, are you the only one with one, or are there others?
No, there are a few, but not very many.
Right.
I certainly know at one point I was the only one that was restored and in good working order. But I think now the value has gone up. There are more around, but not a lot.
So
maybe half a dozen.
These are £1 million car to talk
pretty
about
much,
money.
yes.
But did you see there's a story of a man who said this can't be worth it. This is a Toyota can't be worth that much.
Yes, when we first sort of brought it over, and I think at that time it was worth about 350,000, and this sort of car guy said, oh, you know, what's it worth? 350. Oh, you mean 35? You know, it's a Toyota after all. No, I mean 350. But it's a Toyota, and he couldn't get into his head that a Toyota could be worth that sort of money. So what he thinks now, when they're up to about £1 million, I'm not quite sure.
No, well, obviously that's quite a different price. I take it you've owned this quite a long time.
18 years, something like 18 years. We brought it over from Japan. It needed some restoration, so we had it restored. So yeah, but she's enjoyed.
I was going to say, she's lovely,
and I think they are. It's the sort of compound curves at the back.
This rear quarter window is gorgeous, and it's a shame that there aren't more of these, because every so often to get a glimpse of one of these on the roads would be a really special sight. But you keep it for yourself. No,
absolutely no. But I do take it out. I do take it and show it. And so obviously we have people, charity visits and things, so people get to see the cars here as well.
The interior is incredible in this. There's a lot of chrome in it as well, isn't there?
There's a lot of chrome and of course some very nice wood, veneered wood, and that is because the original design and everything was Yamaha and not Toyota.
Oh, so Yamaha did the design of the interior of the car?
Yamaha started the whole car, initially the whole project. And they intended, I think, to sell it to Nissan, so I've been told. Whether it's true or not, who knows? But that was what they were going to do, but Nissan didn't, and Toyota took it over instead. But yes, that wood veneer is very much the sort of Yamaha. Obviously, they have the expertise because they did the pianos. So
you've recently had some engine work done on this.
Yes, she seemed sort of okay, but a little bit off, and fortunately, we did get her checked out because the cams were so worn that they were almost within a thou of missing altogether, and then the whole engine would have gone.
Right.
But new cams have been made for her, and she is now running beautifully.
They were made?
Yes, we couldn't find any anywhere.
Because you do have, I know obviously you've had your cars scanned, we'll talk about that later, but obviously you can't really do that for internal parts. So what do you do when you need those parts, but they're just not there?
Fortunately, we have contacts and things who know the people to go to get things made. Very lucky.
I'll be getting those contacts off you, because I really need a radiator for an old car, and you just go, I need these things as well. It's part and parcel of classic car ownership. Sometimes, on particularly rare cars, you just can't. You just have to get them custom made.
Yes, because all these parts. And as the years go by, less and less parts are available.
What's left slowly dwindles away.
Yes. I mean, people will either be stupid enough to throw them away, or they do get used and sold, and, but it is something that, you have to be aware of. And fortunately, yes, we do have contacts so that bits can be made to keep them going.
Shall we go over to the Fury? Shall we have a chat about it?
Yes, she's out at the moment. She just came back from the garage this morning because I took her out a couple of weeks ago and her brakes seized on.
This is a particularly beautiful front end, and as I understand it, is the only one that there ever was or shall be.
It was built in Italy by Michelotti, and he brought it over, showed triumph, and they apparently loved it, but they were already financially a bit, and set up for chassis.
Right.
and this is monocoque.
Now,
And they could not afford to put it into production.
this front end is just incredible.
It's beautiful, yes. Pop-up headlights,
Yeah.
vacuum operated. So if you give her a bit of welly, they shut, which is terribly helpful. My very first car was a Triumph Spitfire. My godmother, bless her, rest in soul, she left me £500 and I blew the whole lot on the Spitfire. Story of my life.
No, that's not blowing it. That's money well spent.
So I know I loved my Spitfire, and I'd thought about having another one, and I thought, I've got so many wonderful memories. Would actually driving one now make me think, oh, it wasn't as good as I remember? But then I saw this was just at a dealer at Goodwood Revival one year.
So it's just...
So yes, so I saw it and I thought, yep, it's a grown-up Spitfire, perfect. I mean, I had a Triumph charity do here the other day, and they said, oh, could we take, could put it outside? Typically, of course, to say having this brakes problem, she wouldn't start. So I said, you can push her out.
Well, this is one of the things that I wanted to say. I do feel like among perhaps not necessarily all classic car owners, but certainly supercars and certain things, there's this kind of feeling of they're my toys and you can't touch them. Yeah. But obviously you let people in, and you've allowed me to come and have a look around.
Well, I mean, the Miura isn't really part of the collection, that is my son's, but, we exercise it for him, so, we took it to a little show. And loads of people sat in it. I have always termed myself a curator.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. I mean, this practically is a museum anyway.
Well, it is, yes.
So it's a private museum.
The guy at Haynes Museum did tell me that they started off with fewer cars than I've got.
Well, there you are. You could be the next Haynes.
What I've done with the classics, the one-offs, the things, I have them 3D scanned.
Yes, I was going to say, so that's something
so that should somebody take the front end off, it can be sorted, it can be rebuilt. When the garage brought it back today, and he said, oh, I had a little bit of trouble tracking down the braking things, but he said they're actually MG.
You can't beat good Leyland cross compatibility.
Yeah, I think that's the point with a lot of these rare cars, that parts for them are whatever was in the local parts bin when they were building.
That was very typical of us, though, and the French, I think.
Yeah.
But
sensible.
Yeah, it's
it keeps the cost down.
Keeps the cost down.
Yeah.
I mean, shall we move on? I will just say, we were talking about my dream car garage, and the car that I might own is a P1800. The car I do own is a DS, and the car I will never own is the Miura. Yes. But in the right colour, it's got to be either this green or the yellow, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Well, we did have a powder blue SV as well at one point, but no, I mean it's just an iconic car, and they need to be in those sorts of colours.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were very fortunate. Yes, we got in when the prices were attainable.
You like a V12? I get the impression.
Very fond of V12s. Yes.
Is this the only car with a transverse V12?
Yes. I mean, it is fascinating to see that engine that way. Copied, obviously, I presume, from Isigonis, really, and the Mini. Because other people hadn't really thought about transverse engines before that. But they do need to be in those colours. There was actually one, an event at Silverstone I was at yesterday, and I didn't even notice it. Somebody else.
What colour was it?
Of course, it was matte black.
Oh. Matte black as well. Matte black's a modern colour. You put that on a Mercedes AMG or something.
It was in the car park, and I didn't even see it. Of course, it just blended in, and
I noticed that this car, is this an early one because it hasn't got mirrors, or were they?
It started off as a P400 actually, and when it was about a year or so old, Bernie Eccleston, I think, took it in part exchange for something else that he was selling when he was running a garage, and he sent it back to Lamborghini to be upgraded to an S. She's never had wing mirrors, which is an interesting drive.
I was going to say, because you can't see out the back either.
You can't see an awful lot out the back.
So what do you just stick your head out the window and hope for
the
the best?
No, because you can't see around there.
How do you drive?
What you do is, what you can see out the back, you look on a motorway, it's only really on motorways, and you look and you think, right, there's a space between that green car and that grey one, so when that blue one passes, I will start indicating, and I hope the space will still be there, and you just sort of ease out. I mean, generally people...
This is a car that people let you out in.
Yes, they're going to let you out.
I don't know if you find this, but certainly with... People can be very hit and miss with classic cars. So some people will let you out because they go, that's a nice classic car, I'm going to let them out and then I get to look at it from behind. Or they go, that's going to be, obviously not this, but that's going to be really slow, so I'm going to go right in front of you and not let you go.
Yeah, yes, you get that, yes.
Yeah.
I say this, we call them tourists because they come up behind to take pictures, then they come beside, usually right in your blind spot to take pictures, and then they pull in front and brake to take pictures.
Well, they have to
and
get the full angle.
The brakes aren't really that good in these old cars, and they are such a joy to drive.
Really,
too many young people, younger journalists, I hate to say it, get in and say, oh, it's very heavy. Oh, what do you expect? It's a 68
Well, I'm not driving it, but also it's the big Lamborghinis are famous for being difficult.
They're difficult.
And unruly.
But, you know, you've got a panorama out the front, you've got a symphony behind you, and what more do you need? We had a lovely story. We were asked to take it to an outdoor showing of the Italian Job.
Right.
So we got there, and the girl from Lamborghini Birmingham said, oh, have you managed to tune your radio in for the sound? It said, no. Shall I send the technician over to help you? I said, do you think he can fit a radio in the next 10 minutes?
One thing that I did want to talk to you about was, I remember you saying there was a story about how, was it you or somebody?
Oh, at Prescott,
Yes.
knocking the front end. That was me.
That was you?
Yeah, that was me. It's only a demonstration run. We'd done the run up at the second run. The first time I got it right, but at Prescott, the turn back to the pits is a very steep turn and a gravelly hill.
Right.
And this does have the turning circle of the QE2. So
big
the
old
first
car.
time I got it right, the second time, I was a bit wide, and I thought, now, should I gun it, or should I be sensible and put the handbrake on? So I thought, no, I'd better be sensible. So I say, it is my son's car, and I was exercising it for him. So I put the handbrake on or whatever, and the handbrake didn't hold her, and I just didn't have enough feet. So she slithered into a fence. But to be honest, I mean, it was a little crease here. That was all it was.
Right.
£500 put it right.
Right, but and that is the point that I'm making. It was a £500 fix on £1 million car, and there was no, I need to send it to Italy. There was no, oh, this must be done by the finest of craftsmen.
Goodness.
It's a nice paint job, but £500 makes me feel a bit better about the fact that I also have a crease on the wing of my classic car, and the bill that I was looking at was £500. Oh, should I do it? But yeah.
It's done.
But you don't know.
Dusted. No.
There doesn't need to be this big...
That really, for something like bodywork and everything, I mean, we're very lucky where we are here. We've got a great bodywork guy one way, great mechanics the other way. But I mean, this was done by the mechanic, the bodywork guy I'd used for sort of 30 years down the road where we lived before. And yeah, it's no trouble.
Unless you're able to work on them yourself, you've got to have a team that you can trust to be able to look after them in a way that you want them done. For something like this, I think a lot of people would be surprised that £500 paint job for a crease on a Miura.
It's just a car when it comes to it, isn't it?
But
It's
there
a
will be someone that
mechanical
charges you
thing with-
£10,000 for this.
Yes, and more fool I if I'd spent that sort of money on it. Back in the 90s, she was involved in a big fire. Not of her making for a change.
Oh, okay, I was going to say,
Yes.
Miuras do have a bit of a habit of that.
No, both clamshells were off, the engine was out, and the car next to her in the garage caught fire. But that, yes, the whole tub was burnt out. So yes, it was sent back to Lamborghini, you know, for something like that.
For major things, complete
Major that.
agreement.
I mean, her engine was rebuilt last year, and there are plenty of people who are quite capable of building that and rebuilding. It doesn't need to be shipped off somewhere.
No. But I like that, and I like the fact that there are still, if you know where to find them, there are these garages that will cater for these things, that will look after it and still have the knowledge of how it was done back when the car was new. And obviously as time goes on, these people retire, which is why it's really important for the next generation to still maintain a love for supercars, because as I understand, pre-war cars are going really out of fashion now.
Yes.
No one's buying them.
Which is a great shame.
So who will be left to maintain them?
No. I mean, when I have sometimes younger people around who are sometimes mechanic, I say, learn, because there are going to be so many of these cars, and you can basically then name your price.
Of course, we've got a Mercedes 220 here.
220 SCB. Yes. Not my normal sort of car, really, but I just saw it and thought, that's really nice. At an auction, of course. Yes.
What way you could just not have to think about what you were doing.
Yeah.
I really do feel with this, although it's not the quirkiest car, but it is really, really classy.
It is stylish, yes.
Mercedes were this is a 60s car, isn't it? Mercedes,
Yes.
particularly in the 60s, were really, really
Yeah.
fine-tuned. But I think back then, Mercedes had more of a exclusive. They were more, anyone could go out and buy a Mercedes A-Class now, but back then you couldn't go out, not anyone could just go out and buy one of these.
No.
But the quality of them, it's like a Rolls Royce in here.
It is, and this is in beautiful condition. So the first owner had it from 66 to 2006 and did high mileage in her and then treated her to a complete ground-up restoration, engine rebuild, everything. So she's
But that's
like a bit like a
perfect.
new car.
That's perfect.
Yes.
And the condition of it is this.
Yes.
Has this ever even been out of here? This is it's
Oh,
immaculate.
no, she's been all over the place. Another one, yes. No, she does get driven. Not quite as much perhaps as she should have been, but no, she gets used and
again-
abused. We did some Celebrity Antiques road trips in this one.
This is the thing about being the custodian of these cars, though, because yes, although they're not used all the time, they're here and they're safe. And
They're
in
here and they're safe and say here, dehumidification. So that's why a lot of clients like to keep their cars with us because the conditions are good.
I love these as well, these massive lights. These are like street lamps.
Yes.
They're huge.
They're fabulous, aren't
Yeah.
they? Absolutely fabulous.
Lots of chrome.
Lots of chrome, lots of nice wood as well. A van wall,
A van wall.
but a modern van wall.
How so?
But it is a van wall, it's not a replica as such, because the guy who built it has the rights to the name.
I was going to say, because there's a new van wall now, isn't there?
Well,
And
there
it's
were
like a
three-
Valkyrie or something.
Oh yes, but basically, the same guy who did the Ronarts, Arthur Wolstenholme, excellent engineer, useless businessman, he's lost the name several times. On one of those occasions, he poached Van der Velde bearings. He said, could he make a van wall? They looked at the quality of his work and said yes. And he built 3 single-seat racers and asked us if we wanted one, but we said, we don't race, so build us a 2-seater.
So this was built for you.
This was built with our input, and he always worked with Jaguar things. We said no, the early thin wall specials had Ferrari engines, so we need a Ferrari engine in there. So there's a
So
Ferrari
you've even got the
V12.
Ferrari.
Another V12.
Of course, there's another V12 in there.
Yes.
I love the addition of the mirrors
Yes, there.
just on the side. I've never
Well, you
seen.
see that comes off if you're on your own.
Yeah.
And the panel there goes on.
I love, by the way, these covers that have got a tyre tread on.
Yes. Well, it's to make it look as much like a racing car, which of course wouldn't have had
Wouldn't have.
anything on, but to make it road legal, you have to. The same with these small lights. There are big lights in the nose.
Well, that was something that I was going to mention as well. So certainly for the rarer cars, you've had them scanned. They've been
Yes.
3D scanned so that should you
Yes.
need any parts, you
Yeah.
can just print your parts.
Yes, can just be done.
What a great idea.
But no, this is a phenomenal vehicle. It really is. I say we've been up to Scotland, we've been down to Italy, watched the Mille Miglia in it, and they almost got invited to take part. What are you doing with that there? It should be.
It should be on there.
Yeah.
No, it's a
Absolutely.
lovely car.
It's beautifully engineered. There's such a Marmite one, isn't it?
I love the Lugano because it's got that funny dash
Well,
board.
yes, this is one of the Series 4, so the dash is a little more sorted and a little less.
Oh, they sort
weird.
of toned it down.
They
I've
toned it
noticed
down
though
a
it's green with a sort of
Tanning
tobacco.
colour.
Yeah.
It was part of the Hunter Green collection,
right.
which was a collection of every model they did at 1989-90. And he had, I think, the 6 or 7, had them all painted this colour, interior colour, and sequential number plates. But interestingly, this was the one at 2,000 miles with the highest mileage on, because the owner found it the nicest one to drive.
What? So 2,000 miles was the high mileage.
Yes, was the high mileage.
That's something else that I find about supercars, which again I like about you, is this. There's a thing about I mustn't drive it too much. And I remember I sent you something recently where I said there was a Ferrari F40 with 100 miles on, and the first thing that came into my head is Jane would be furious about this.
Precisely.
but they are cars and they are supposed to be driven.
No, I mean, yesterday I was talking to a company who's sort of flogging almost timeshares, sort of asset management, sort of, buy a classic and in a couple of years or so we'll sell it at massive profit and really da. And I said, well, do the shareholders get to drive the car? Well, no.
Oh, so it sits there getting dusty.
Yeah, he said we service them every year. They don't go anywhere.
What's the point?
But
Yeah.
we service them every year, and they do a maintenance mileage, i.e., just
Someone else gets
warm
to
them up a
drag them
little
up
bit.
the road.
But really, that's so minimal mileage. And why? Why? There's no point. She's done about 17,000 now. We're taking her abroad quite a lot.
Well, that's still low.
It's still low. Exactly. It's still low.
But you make sure that all your cars do get driven. They don't. Obviously, they're all clean. None of them are in a poor condition because they go out.
Clean, but yeah.
Well, we'll ignore that. But they are generally clean.
Yes.
So what, do you just come and start? I mean, I can see obviously this is on trickle charge.
They are all on battery conditioners, so they're ready to go. And you will also notice there's whiteboards behind them all. So
like hospital beds.
It's on there is when they were last driven
Right.
or just run. So I warmed up, perhaps taken round the drive and brought back in, so that I know when they've been done. I know how old the tyres are from on there, when they were last serviced.
Does a collection of this size ever get tiring to have?
No.
Good. That gives
No,
me hope for the
never.
future. I'm expanding. Well, you are just the person that I needed to confirm what I already knew.
I never get sort of tired of driving them. Jaguar XT220.
This is just drop dead gorgeous. Yes, we've looked at cars that are drop dead gorgeous, and this is. You've said that people will still think that this is a new car.
Yes, they do, because I mean it's a timeless design, absolutely timeless.
I feel like the I forgot the name of it. Was it the CX-75 or the 25 that the concept car that they brought out that was orange? It's in Gaydon.
Yes.
I feel like that was in some way a continuation of
Very
this.
much so. Jaguar actually contacted all the owners of XJ220s and said, "Were you interested in buying a CX-75?"
And you said,
"No, thank you.
"Oh, too modern?
Electric bits.
It's electric."
It's electric engine. Yeah, electric motors.
I didn't know that. I thought that had a big.
No. It was electric.
Ooh. Of course, it's got the wing mirrors from Citroen CX.
Yes, it does. And if you notice, one is on the door, and the other one's on the body.
Why? Oh, yeah. Why is that?
Because otherwise, if that one was on the body, you wouldn't see it. And if this
Oh,
one
yes,
was on
'cause
the
you've
door, it would be too far back.
You've got the
really.
pillar.
So, yes.
So
But again, when you talk about mileages, this one, when I bought her, had done 400 miles.
yes, now that's what I want to talk specifically about this car. So this car had done 400 miles. It is now on
19,000.
19,000. So you've definitely had some use.
Definitely. And a lot for charity, actually. We take a lot of people out in it on the Sporting Bears. We've used it a hell of a lot for that.
So-
and people would pay £200-300 to go out for a 10-mile drive.
I would. As someone that grew up in the 90s, this was my poster car. This was the XJ220. Oh, I'd never seen one. And I was heading back, it was probably 10 years ago, from Bewley on the motorway, and there was an XJ220 going down the motorway, and it was the first time that I'd seen one. And even from a mile off, you think, what the back end, you think, what the hell is that? And you get a bit closer to it and you go, oh wow, it's an XJ220. And this is obviously from a car that's from the early 90s.
Yeah. They were pretty much all built 92.
Same as me. But so this is a car that's obviously from 1992 that still looks not at all dated.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you compare it to something like the Countach that looks very much of its era.
Yeah, the Countach fits in as being a 70s car, but this
definitely.
just
This could be, and I mean, you do get people, at some shows who don't know about cars and go, "Oh, is this a new Jag?" Because it could be.
I mean, that's
from that
probably a
point of
hint
view.
that Jaguar, where Jaguar should be going for the future,
Yes,
really.
probably.
I think a
Yes.
lot of people have been saying take a step back to previous days. But yeah, this is absolutely incredible. And I remember once, I don't know if you'd heard it, I think it was in about 2002, they found an XJ220 bricked up in a wall behind us. Do you remember that story?
Yes.
I had, for some reason, a newspaper clipping of that, which I found the other day, and I cut it out because I'm like, wow, they found an XJ220 in the wall. And when you said, obviously, the mileage of this, there was a brief thing where I thought, I wonder if that was the one.
Yeah, it sat apparently in this dealership in Ireland for a couple of years until the local sort of multi-millionaire, whose name I now know from yesterday's conversation, who got fed up with seeing it there, so bought it, basically parked it next to his helicopter. And the chauffeur occasionally took it for a run around the runway just to, you know, warm it up. But that's the mileage it had done. So obviously it was then shipped over, recommissioned, and I bought it.
As it should be.
Yes.
And as you were saying, your mechanic said that you had been driving it in the rain.
Yes.
Which
yes,
this is something that changed my outlook, because I was also of the thought, never drive anything in the rain, until it became well, it's just a car. You can drive them in the rain and they're not going to fall into bits.
Well, I mean, the point is, she's really not nice in the rain. I will be totally honest.
Right.
I mean, I did, the first time I took her in the rain, I tried a little bit of acceleration. She just swapped ends and we're going back that way. Okay, but beautifully balanced. I didn't even brush the hedge.
Maybe you're just talented.
You won't go out in the rain deliberately. But if you're caught in the rain, what are you going to do? Hide under a bridge for an hour and hope the rain goes away? You know, there's nothing you can do.
This is England.
Sensibly.
It rains.
Yes, you carry on sensibly. I have to say about the driver, well, Keith Helfet, who designed these cars, I was talking to him at Gaydon and I was saying to him, so beautifully balanced. And he said, actually, I think that was something to do with the driver when I explained the situation. And I looked, he said, you didn't interfere, did you? I said, well, no, I've done a load of off-roading. I know when I'm a passenger. So I just sat there and, okay, we're settled, we can go now.
Oh, so you just let the car do its thing?
Yes, let the car do its thing. He said, had you fought it, you would have been in the ditch.
Autonomous driving before we even
Yes,
knew it was
before we
there.
knew it. It's a 13, very aptly numbered, been off the road longer than on the road in the time that we've had her.
Is this also a one-off?
It's one of two that were built by a company called Catman. And they built 1.5 actually before they went bust.
Right.
And this was the half, so somebody else then finished it.
So what's it based on?
It's not based on anything.
Oh, it is its own...
It is its own.
Oh.
Yes, it's its own car. It's not based on anything whatsoever.
So does it... What's the engine it's...
The engine now is a dressed 6-litre V12. I was offered a quad cam, because originally they had quad cam. The car had a quad cam. But that was £250,000. So
What, £250,000?
Politely declined. Thank you.
No, thanks.
Yes. I'll get the other one just dressed. It looks good. It looks like it could be a quad cam, but no, she is a phenomenal vehicle. But I suppose she's rarish in that she's aluminium bodied, because most of the replicas are fiberglass. But she is Ali.
It's got quite a stance as well. Really wide arches on the back. I can imagine looking in the rear view mirror, you see more arch than road.
Yes, you don't see an awful lot, yeah.
No, that's...
no, she's just phenomenal, really.
And next to it, I can see a couple of BMWs here.
BMWs, 850.
I was going to say, knowing you as I do for the last hour, it's an 850.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's the story with this? Because this seems...
That, funnily enough, my partner Spike, who you met earlier, he has always been a BMW fan.
Right.
So this was his car. And then he got bored with it and wanted to change and move to something else. So... And
you said, no, I'm putting it in the museum.
I said, right, I'll buy it off you.
Yeah, there we go.
And put it, although actually I am got that on the market really now. It's not been used enough. But it's a fabulous car. Nothing wrong with it. And it's lowish mileage. It's only about 50,000 miles.
Well, there you are, if anybody's looking for an 850.
If anybody's looking for an 850. But you can see it's in nice condition.
There will be an empty space here.
Yes, I hopefully might get somebody to store a car in that space.
Oh, I was... well, I was going to say, you're not planning on buying another one.
Yes, well, I might buy something else. This was a client's car, to be honest.
Okay.
And he was going to sell it. And I said, well, I'll save you the trouble of removing it from the premises.
Do you know, I've just realised who you are. You are the person who works in a cat's protection league and then takes all the cats home.
Cats all the home. Yeah. Yes, no, my cats had kittens.
You're the car's protection league.
And the vet said, have you got homes for them?
Yes, they're all here. I've got 60 more at home. They'll all get on perfectly. So obviously,
yes, it is a bit like that. Yeah.
Next to this,
it's the DeLorean.
Now that is an iconic car.
Exactly. That also is my son's, but no, it's one of those things you feel, again, it's sort of thing you should have in the collection.
Never one for performance and always one for looks.
Yes, I mean, it's performed better than I thought it might when I first bought it.
I've only heard negative things, really, particularly
they're
about
okay.
that they're a
They're
bit
okay.
sort of sluggish. But
I mean, they're not XJ220 speed or anything.
No.
But they are perfectly drivable and perfectly okay.
and they can take you back to the future. Behind you
Is another nonsensical
is
car.
another nonsensical car. I've never seen one, wasn't sure I ever would see one. The Urus before the Urus. The Lamborghini LM002.
Yes.
I never realised it's completely flat
Screen.
Is it the same for the windows? Is everything flat glass?
Everything's pretty much flat.
Very unusually flat for a
Yes.
Lamborghini.
Yes.
So what's your story of your ownership of this?
In, I think 2002 or so, we did a Top Gear thing with the Miura, and it was an all Lamborghini show, and they had one in the studio. I went,
Oh, when you said, I need a
need one of
Lamborghini.
these, yes.
How did you even find one on the market?
It came up for auction.
So you got this from auction?
Yes, got it.
And is this one of the auctions where you just turn up and don't register and throw your
Yes.
hand up until you win?
Yes.
Yeah, those are always the good ones.
Yes. Yeah. No, this is one of the last of them called the American. So instead of basically the Countach engine, it's basically the Diablo engine, slightly altered, but that's basically what it is.
Is it as unruly to drive as any other big Lamborghini?
No, not really. It's just a lump, isn't it? You know.
This is one that I imagine would also get a lot of looks on the road.
Yes, it does. It does.
I'm just going to have a look inside.
Do,
actually.
please. And feel the weight of the doors, bearing in mind this is not a metal. Those weight the doors.
They feel armoured.
I think so. The idea was to build them for the Saudi military, but it never happened.
I didn't know that. I mean, I know obviously Saddam Hussein's
His son had one. Yeah. No, the idea was hoping to sell to the Saudi military, but it didn't happen. So they just sold them to rich Arabs to hoon around in the desert. Really.
And has this one come from
But I think
there?
no, this was actually in Monaco before I bought it.
Oh, really? You
Yes.
don't want to slam them, but
No,
then
you
you
have to
also
slam
have
them.
to give them a bit of a
Yes,
whack.
you have to give them a slam. That is my favourite car to drive, the F-150 Lightning.
So
1999 supercharged
why?
pickup. She handles in no way, shape or form. And
That's
that
because it's a-
supercharger is sublime. It was my daily driver. Bought it in 2000 when it was 9 months old. And it was my daily driver for a while. Took over from the Land Cruiser next to it, which was my previous daily driver. I adore it. I absolutely adore driving this. It's just insane.
Sorry, what engine did you say?
It's a 5.4 litre.
So 5.4 litre daily driver.
Yes.
So next to it, we have obviously now any big Toyota is just bomb-proof, isn't it? And this is
it's
certainly
fabulous. Yes.
Have you had this a long time?
Yes, I've had this since the late 90s. My husband brought it over for me because I had one before and I'd had a bit of a knee problem, and it being being manual in London, the traffic was a bit OTT. So he brought this one over because she's automatic.
I noticed that
but
you
she's
don't
also
have
petrol,
Oh, that's
not diesel.
Oh no! So what size is the engine?
It's just a 4 litre.
Just a 4 litre
Yeah,
petrol.
or 3.9 or something, you know. So
But juicy. Which one's more actually?
I think yes, the Toyota would probably take more than that does.
I
to
love
leave.
this though, because you look at this engine bay, and this is a car that is clearly used, and obviously you've got essentially a museum and everything is lovely and clean. But a big Toyota is not supposed to be a show car. No. So it's displayed exactly how it should be. And I love this. I love the interior. That's such an 80s shade of brown.
Absolutely. Well, there's an 80s shade of brown. It actually came with curtain rails, so I made some curtains in it. And Carfest for a couple of years, we took the seats out and put a mattress in and slept in it.
Yeah. Oh, so it's been used as a camper as well?
Oh, yes.
Fantastic. Yeah. Do you know, one of these came up at an auction, and I don't know if I did the wrong thing letting it go. It was a Turbo R, I think, and it was at pool auction. It needed a little bit of payment, but it went for $3,000. And I watched it go, and I went, no, I don't know what else could be wrong with it. And the hammer fell down, and after it did, I thought, why did you not buy that?
The trouble is that, yes, spare parts are not cheap. A friend was driving this, and as he came back through the drive, she lost all her hydraulics from the suspension. It just went, and and it was quite expensive.
As a Citroen owner, I understand that because I've had that happen to me 3 times.
Probably slightly cheaper on the Citroen than on a Bentley.
Well, yeah. Well, roughly, it's the same system, though, isn't it?
Well, precisely, but you're paying Bentley prices.
Of course, Bentley prices for something that they licensed off Citroen anyway. It's got a phone in the back.
It is a phone in the back, yes. You can just put a SIM card in and use it.
It will still work?
Yes. Yes,
I love now. That is future-proofing.
Yes.
I love that still works. This.
The Griffo.
Yeah.
Yes, the Griffo.
Now that's going to be one that turns a few heads, isn't it?
Yes.
I would imagine it's probably people going, "What is that?"
Mostly, what is it?
Because they're not immediately. Obviously, they are really rare. They are not immediately obvious what they are unless you are a classic Italian person.
Precisely.
As to
Italian design, American muscle. So you've got cheap engine rebuilds, that sort of thing. Much easier, much less finicky engine. This was the 1967 motor show car. Well, they were mostly motor show cars because they brought so few in.
Yeah.
I think they made something like only 34 right-hand drive. But John Lennon sat in this at the 67 motor show car. He bought a Revolter, he didn't buy a Griffo. But
John Lennon sat in this car.
His bum has been on the seat.
I'm going to have to sit there too. So next door we've got, okay.
A hybrid, I hate to say. Yes, a Lexus hybrid.
I was going to say, is this yours?
Yes, this I've had from you.
Incorrect Jane number plate there.
Yes.
It's round the wrong way.
I thought, well, I need a plate for her. That will do.
So
somebody just
very recently, I bought an LS400.
Lovely.
I sold it the other day. I have an IS200, but certainly in this era, I'm not so sure about the new ones, but they are just impeccable cars.
Absolutely.
They drive spot on. You don't feel anything. They're compliant. They do what you want, when you want. They are reliable. I could go on about them forever. Do you get the same feeling as it? Because this is a GS, isn't it?
Yes, this is a GS, 2008, I think. And it's one of those cars, for example, go to the Essen Motor Show. Now, if you go in a Classic, you've got to spend 2 days and you're exhausted.
Your spine.
And your spine. She's just so simple to drive and just so easy. So yes, if I've got to go somewhere, to get somewhere without any hassle and aggravation.
This Datsun seems like it's riding high.
It's a 240ZG. She's one of the rally homologation versions.
Okay.
They made 500 of them. Hence, these that look like they've been tacked on in somebody's shed were actually put on by the factory.
Tacked on by the factory shed.
Yes, tacked on in the factory shed.
There's similarity between this and the Toyota.
There is some talk of whether Goetz, who did this, actually had some input into the Toyota as well. I don't know if it's true or not.
It's definitely got the same kind of shape to the lights and the shape on that rear quarter that you would think.
Well, the ordinary 240Zs are slightly shorter. They end about here. So this is why this.
Oh, this is
the G
I was going to say it does seem like it has
it's
got the
G nose, so she's longer. But handling-wise, we took her on a rally around Europe, and oldest car on the rally, no problems. Pushing TVRs and things out the way on the mountains, and you can't get the rear end out. Doesn't matter how you try. She just sticks to the road like glue.
Oh, you'd think that it would want to try.
Yeah, no, she is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
So, absolutely can't go here and not talk about
From the
this.
sublime to the, yes, possibly ridiculous.
Well,
the William Towns Hustler.
Completely right. I am lost for words because I don't know what to say about it. So it's wood, a lot of wood, based on a Mini.
It's got mini engine, mini subframes. It actually has a wooden chassis. From William Towns, you bought the plans and the glass. He did do fiberglass versions as well in 4 and 6 wheels, but you bought the plans. And what always fascinated me was the plans, which I have got, are slightly fuzzy, so they couldn't be copied and sold.
What?
Clever.
I mean, but my next thing would be to say who was going, well, I must have...
Who the hell was going to buy with this?
Do you know how many of these there are?
There are still quite a few around. I mean, back in the 80s and things, Kit Car Show at Stoneleigh, there were loads, absolutely loads. It's just one of those vehicles that, you go out and it brings a big smile to your face. You know,
What, because you're driving a car made of wood? This makes me think that it's like driving my nan and granddad's drinks cabinet.
Yes.
Just this sort of rose-tinged glass and lots of wood everywhere, and it is
And sliding doors.
sliding doors as well.
Yes, the doors slide.
It's so much
So
like
if it's hot, you can just leave the doors open.
It's so much like a display cabinet. I really do feel like
and it's
there
definitely
should
your
be.
brand's sort of colour scheme
Oh
inside,
God, it's
isn't
even
it?
got like
Yes.
tweed.
Tweed dashboard and sort of green seats, which don't go with the tweed.
This honestly has to be don't take this the wrong way. This has to be the most old person themed car I think I've ever seen in my life, and I think that's fantastic. I love it.
It's even got a sunshine roof. You just undo a couple of screws and it folds back. You know.
You could fix this car with bits from B&Q.
Oh, definitely.
Which is actually kind of makes it very utilitarian.
Absolutely.
But honestly, it gives.
As we say, rare and quirky. You see.
I've got more questions than answers with this. It's just. I love, mind you, the detail. It's got
the guy did
inlay.
great woodwork who built it. But mind you, it doesn't have a key, and the starter button is a plastic front doorbell.
No.
Yes, if you look down there, you can see it tucked under there, under the dash. Can you see it? Yes,
that's
plastic doorbell.
You've got to get a close-up shot of the doorbell. Well, that's the starter.
That's the starter, yes.
That's fantastic. I kind of want my car to do that, just for how bizarre it is. I've never seen.
And as somebody said the other day, the radio. I mean, it is fitted in, but it looks like it's just been popped.
It does. It looks like someone's just gone. There it is.
Yeah, I'll stick it in later.
And the gear stick's funny as well.
Yes.
I like there's an amount of wear to it, which would indicate it does actually get driven.
Oh, it has been, yes. Well,
it says it's on 7964.
So, you know, that's probably all it's done, but, you know, it just... I mean, that wear is possibly the look of the wood to begin with. But you see, we have speakers even with tweed over them.
Where on earth did you find this?
It was just came up for sale.
And you went.
My husband and I said, "Oh yeah, go on, why
go
not?
on then." Oh,
why not?
It's
just different.
It is so bizarre. This seems like something that someone just made in a garage as a one-off.
Yeah.
And the fact that they actually went on sale for people to buy is
They
just.
They did indeed.
It's kind of something. I won't be the only person, I'm sure, that says it's like a Pope-mobile.
No, that's you know. It's also been called a hearse.
I did think hearse, but for me, I think more than that, it's a display cabinet.
Yeah.
And I just think you should get some shelves in there and put some antiques on it and go around and do the Antiques Roadshow in that. What a thing. Look at these wooden bumpers.
I know, but he did do a lovely job with them.
Oh, the woodwork and the finish and the veneer is lovely.
Yes.
But normally that's
just
like I say,
insane.
you'd expect that on a piece of furniture.
Yes,
and it is like moving furniture.
I don't see there's any point in having a car that I think, oh, I'd better take that out. Because why? You know, if it's a chore to take it out, then don't buy it.
Then get rid of it. Oh no, you should go first actually.
Oh, very well.
That's kind of me. Right.
So this is mostly the little car.
This is hot up here.
It's hotter up here, yes, with the sun today.
So first car that I'm immediately honed in on there is Toyota Serra.
Yes.
This is a dream car of mine actually.
Oh,
I've been trying to get one of these forever. They are just.
It's cute, isn't it?
Is it as reliable as any other
fine.
Toyota?
It's a Starlet, basically.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Because this was the inspiration apparently for the doors for the McLaren F1.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, and it makes sense because they look identical.
They do look very
and you know, after all, why not reverse engineer a Toyota rather than try to do it all yourself?
I would get rid of the car that I drive now and have one, I think. Yeah. But I just can't seem to find any on the market that are in a good condition, unfortunately.
Well, this just popped up to Bonham's MPH just before lockdown, actually.
But again, it's quirky and you like it.
And they're not expensive. I think I paid £4,000 or something.
Really? All the ones that I was seeing are about 8.
Yeah, no, that's what I paid for it. And it's not massive high mileage or anything, you know, but it's cute.
Well, you've got my number if you do change your mind.
Yes.
Well, I mean, this car
This car
is a very interesting car, Amphicar. I have not ever seen the logo on these. I love the C on it. Have you driven it on the
not on the sea?
On the sea, no, but on a river or something.
Oh, I've taken her on the Thames. I've taken her on lakes.
Fantastic.
She crossed the Channel in 1965.
Oh, this car's driven across the Channel.
Yes, it was owned by a croupier in a London club, and he was chatting to an army officer who had something to do with them or contacts. So the bet was, not quite how much alcohol fueled this bet, but whether it would be cheaper to cross the Channel by car or ferry. So they set off in the middle of September,
right,
when the waves are up here. Bilge pump failed in this about 3/4 of the way across. The other one towed her the rest of the way. And they pushed them up in the beach in France. There were two.
Two of them. So one of these towed another one across the Channel.
Well, say the last quarter.
Right. Yeah. But still, a distance.
Yes, exactly. And they drove down to Berlin there, where they'd been made. But when we got her, even though she had been sort of restored, supposedly, there were still massive holes in it from that seawater. So I will not put her in salt water. Put her in fresh water, but not salt water. But I mean, even there, you can see one of the lights has blown because of the water. You know, when you put them
it's
in
not
water.
The worst thing. It's its heritage.
Exactly.
It should bear some of its history, I feel.
It should. She's got a fabulous history.
I love that the rear just opens up sideways, and you've got an oar on the back of it.
The oar's on the back of it. Yes, they sort of tell the story about the crossing. But Triumph Herald engines were shipped over because they were made in Berlin, helping get Germany back on its feet after the war. But a Porsche gearbox.
That seems an odd coupling.
It does, and believe me, it's weird. The gearbox, it's sort of stirring a pudding, and somewhere I'll find a gear. But
what's actually the process for doing it, for driving these? How does it mechanically work?
At the back first, otherwise she's going to fill up with water.
I love it that there's just a bung.
Remember the bung.
Right, remember the bung.
First of all, remember the bung. When you get in, you can see there are additional handles here which clamp the doors too.
Oh, right. Oh, so they're
give a
sealed.
Better seal.
Yeah.
I mean, you still get a bit of leakage, but much better than that. And then you basically just start her up, and you see there's another handle.
Oh, yeah.
That basically forwards, backwards, in the water,
right,
which does the propellers. Of course, she's got a couple of props, so they do that. The wheels still turn, and she steers purely by the front wheels as well. But she's actually really quite nice in the water. She's nicer than she is on the road.
Now I want to say, can we go back in it?
She's called the 770. It's 7 knots and 70 miles an hour. There is, I'm in a group, and you know, some to get together for a swim in on the Thames once a year.
The amount of groups you must be a member of is ridiculous.
But I mean, they're very popular in America. There's a load in California, and they do really big swim-ins with them over there.
I wonder what the appeal is to the Californians then.
I don't know, just different, isn't it?
Next door, I've got
Celica GT liftback. When my children were really small, I had one. And I loved it, so I thought, no, I am going to buy another one of these. But finding a lot of the Japanese cars, of course, are modded to within an inch of their lives. Finding one that hadn't been mucked about with. This had sort of surface rust underneath. The interior was pretty much shot. But I've had that all done. There's no more.
It looks really good.
And it's, let's say, she's now as she should be.
That sort of 70s Japanese style, and you've got a bit of a theme of that here, I can see.
Yes, yeah.
Was that coincidence, or do you just love them?
No, I just loved them, really. Yes, I mean, so my first car was a Spitfire, and then I really wanted a Datsun 240Z. And to be honest, I couldn't afford one. You know, 20-something, I didn't have the money for it. And I found one, and this car was screaming at me, "Don't buy me, really don't touch me." Yeah.
And you said,
"Oh, I'm buying that."
Exactly.
So I did, and my mother followed me home, and she said, "I think it's got square wheels, dear." And it turned out it was a gunshot.
Oh no.
But I did manage to get my money back, and my then boyfriend, later husband, said, "Why don't you have a Celica instead?" Well, only if you can find me a bronze one with a GT, and of course he came up with one, so that's what I had instead. So, and then we went on to the liftback. So yes, a long history of Toyotas My husband bought me that because I really wanted it. And then he said, after a couple of months, he said, I should have a trike. And he said, with a big grin on his face,
Right.
find one with a bigger engine than yours.
He
course,
buys you that and then is in direct competition with his present to you.
And then he came,
home with
which
this.
is the Boss Hoss 8.2 litre.
And you, when he brought that home, said, what a lovely idea,
Yeah.
didn't you? Because
Absolutely.
there's no way that you'd have gone, you've gone and bought another vehicle.
Oh, God, no.
No,
I
full
encouraged
support.
Him. I encouraged him. There's times he said, no, I'm not paying that for that. And I say, oh, go on, you want it.
God,
You
every
can afford
man's
it.
dream wife. So this is obviously
Insane, I think you call this, don't you?
this is an 8 litre,
8.2 litre, 502
completely
cubic inch.
insane. We were just saying, so your fuel consumption, this is the most juicy
Deep
vehicle you
thirsty,
have.
Yes.
And your consumption is?
I put 30 litres in full tank and went to a show 30 miles away, and as I was leaving the show, I ran out. So I know I had been pushing her on a tad, but not, I mean, she's capable of well over 200 miles an hour. I certainly wasn't doing anything like that.
Is that,
you know,
God, that's
scary.
some speed.
So what she's doing at 200 miles an hour must be about half a mile to the
Yeah,
litre, probably. They did a bike version with that engine. They don't do that engine anymore. It's 7.5 litre, I think, is the biggest they do now.
Oh,
but
what a letdown.
Can you imagine,
Yeah.
if you fell over on the bike? I mean, you're never going to lift that up, are you?
Yeah,
I mean, the
you're
guy
gonna
we bought it off, he used to bring them over every couple of years, and he'd go to Europe and everything. And but he was about 6'8", so when he sat there, he could reach the foot things here. I sit on there, and
you are not 6'8".
My feet are about
No,
here.
you're
I'm
burning
that
yourself.
much short, yes. Or I have to have the big boots on, because otherwise, yes, you burn your legs.
The thing is, it's so wide on the back. I mean, this is...
Yeah, called a 57 Chevy model. Because it looks a bit like a 57.
Yeah,
Chevy
I mean, this
sort
is the width of a car, isn't
Yes.
it?
But this all lifts up, so you've got lots of luggage space or spare fuel space.
It's just so out there, and
It's just
so
mad.
American.
So totally insane, isn't it?
What's this? The motor
Motorbicane.
I've not heard of these.
Yes, it was your sort of, for the businessman who rode to the station and then picked it up and took it on the train with him.
So it's basically like a little suitcase kind of.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this.
No.
Motorbicane.
It's truly scary to ride, I have to say.
Are there very many of these still around?
I don't know.
No.
Probably not.
No.
Probably
and
not.
No indication of your speed?
No.
You just guess?
Well, you're not going to be doing more than 30 because it won't. So, it's not really a problem.
That's really unusual. Next door,
Yes,
we've
a
got
Carver.
a Carver. Really unusual
And
shape.
a proper
aren't they?
Carver, not like the little EV ones they do now, which have got silly little wheels and aren't anywhere near as nice as
We
this.
won't talk about those. As you go around corners, do these give you a huge amount of lean?
If you are going round a roundabout or something with a highish curb, you could knock that off.
See, but that seems fun.
It's huge. On the dashboard, you've got green lights, amber lights, and red lights. And when you get to the red lights, which you're leaning so far, it starts making really loud noises.
Oh, so it
saying,
monitors how much you're leaning?
Yeah. It's all hydraulically done. It's all the leaning is all hydraulics.
It's one of these things I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, it's kind of a bit like the wood of the Hustler, and you think, well, what has someone done where they've gone, I'm going to come up with this as an idea?
It was a Dutch design. And we always joke, I wonder how much they've been smoking before they came up with this idea.
But you've got room for two.
The passenger, though, the legs have to be either side of the driver.
Oh, yeah, because you've got no leg
And
room.
you've got really no vision out the back. I have to say, I do take my hat off to some owners who go down to Spain and places in them. I take my hat off to the person in the back. Driving it is huge fun. Sat in the back, going around town, or I think, yeah, great. But not much further, to be honest. I mean, I keep getting invited to their Welsh trips and things, and I think, no, I don't think so.
Never get wheel clamped, though.
No, they'd have trouble, wouldn't they? It's a Daihatsu Copen engine.
Ah.
Yeah.
So they obviously...
So the engine is squarely
very
between
compact,
those two
yeah.
wheels, and that doesn't move, and then the whole lot tilts hydraulically.
I'm going to have to look at some videos of these driving when I'm back
Yes.
home because
Well, I can show you a picture of it at full lean.
oh yeah, I'd
Because
like that.
it, you know, when you park it, because if you want to work on that, what you have, yes, there's a button, a lever you pull, and she'll lean right over. And
Because it's hydraulic, so you just make
Yes.
it do what you. Oh.
Yeah, so that you can then get to the engine to service, etc. And then you pull the lever and she pops
That's
back
a
up.
lot of thought and design.
Awful lot of engineering has gone into this.
That's what I think is really important, is mechanical engineering. Shame they don't make them like this anymore.
Well, exactly, they didn't make them. Again, this was sort of 20-odd thousand in then. So, you know, it's a lot of money for a toy car to a large extent. It's an LJ50. Of course, this one was brought over for me in homage to that. But she is two-stroke. And I think it's the only one in the country.
That's so. You feel like you could just pick that up and take it out.
I took her to a two-stroke rally, and there's all the old boys with their Messerschmitts and Saabs and things, and I turn up in this and they're going, "Whoa."
You're not supposed to be here.
Then I opened up the bonnet, and they were so excited.
Oh,
Totally
you can stay.
Different, you know, two-stroke.
I love it. I love that you've got yellow. Have you been to France?
She came with those.
Oh, really?
Yes. She
Oh,
came
they're
with
brilliant. I like anything.
those. So we imported her from Japan.
That's
Full 50 miles an hour you can do. You know, the seat doesn't move. You have to work around that.
Are you not going down the road like jumping around in it?
Yes. Yeah, with those tyres. Yes, you're all over the place.
I suppose it's part of the fun.
Again, it's fun. It's huge fun. Yeah, I love her. Honda N600.
Now that's an unusual
It
one.
was one that we were offered, I mean, years ago, probably in the 90s. And she was scruffy, but not really rusty. So we thought, yes, so we had her resprayed and everything. And I mean,
Dark.
it's just so much like a Mini, really, but even better almost.
Well, when we were talking about the Suzuki, out the corner of my eye I saw it and I thought, oh, there's a Mini in there, actually. God, that's
Talking
another
about the small
tiny little
yes,
engine.
you could pick that one out easily. And you've got your spare wheel, your tools, your everything, all tucked underneath.
Smaller than a modern smart car engine, really.
Yeah, it's 600cc. It's a motorbike engine, isn't it, really?
This is a Japanese Mini. I can't obviously see what the back is under the cover, but you stand there,
Well, yes.
and that is a Mini.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Because you've got the hinged boot lid.
Yes, yes. But I tell you what I love about her more than anything else is her petrol filler.
Okay.
It's engineering beauty. Here it is.
Right,
It doesn't push open. There's no button inside that you can find.
right.
But what it is a spring-loaded clip in the door shut.
Okay, that's...
Can't go wrong. Secure.
No, I've never seen a car with anything
It's
like
just beautiful. Beautiful piece of engineering. And that's probably, the reason I keep it more than anything else.
that. I heard it vibrate as you shut the door.
Well, there's a whole car. Yeah.
This is your Fiat Gamine Noddy car.
Yes. It's a car that, if you're feeling low in any way, shape or form, go out in this. Because grown men will stand by the side of the road and wave to you.
It's
and
fantastic.
it just cheers you up, no end. It's so sweet.
It seems quite basic inside, doesn't it?
Totally
It's just,
basic. Yes, it's just, rubber mats on the floor and,
It's
but,
just you in your little red and yellow car.
Yes, wearing my noddy hat if I can be bothered.
Have you got a Noddy hat?
Somewhere, yes, I have. Although
fantastic.
my husband had a long beard.
Yeah.
So when he drove it, people would say, "Oi, big ears, what have you done with Noddy?"
See, but that's the thing that I like about that, when you get a historic vehicle and people shout at you from the street. It's fantastic.
Precisely.
I love
people
it.
join in with the fun.
I like this little
Well,
bar
that
at
was
the back.
part of the roof.
Right.
But it didn't have a roof when we got it, and we tried to sort of reinstate it, but it was missing too many bits, and we thought, well, doesn't matter if we get wet, it's all plastic.
You can strap things on the back of it and
Yes.
use it as a Land Cruiser,
Yes,
knowing you.
exactly.
So next door to that, again, now
Yes,
this
the little cousin of the
this is the
2000 GT.
this is the baby 2000 GT.
And when you talk about small engines,
What?
look at that gearbox. Isn't that cute? But,
There's
you know,
nothing of it.
no. They made about 3,500, I believe, and about 10% only survive. And of that 10%, only probably 10% of those have their original engine, because you've got all that space and people then tend to shove a bigger engine in.
Yeah. It's a lot smaller than the 2000 GT.
Yeah. It was interesting because when they launched the GT86, they made a point of saying, you know, we've made small sports cars before, because they actually used to race these as well.
Right.
And, you know, and funnily enough, we had Piston Heads coming round to do a feature on all of the other cars. And he was so excited because he said, I never heard of it till this launch of the GT86 last week. Oh, you know, when we get our paws on a GT86, we need yours. So we did a great event.
But again, that's what I mean. You're not precious about letting people come and see them. Because as well, doing it, you inspire people along the way to pick something up.
What we do a lot of now is sort of charity car club visits here. So, you know, a car club will come, they pay £10 a head, coffee, cake, as long as they like to wander around the cars, and the money all goes to a children's charity of our choice that year.
That's brilliant.
So one of the newer ones, the Daihatsu Copen.
Yeah. I love a yellow car.
Yes.
Love it. So, sorry, first...
It's the first one in the country. We brought her over. And then Daihatsu started bringing in and then put bigger engines and things in them, because this is just the 660, 600.
So this is the first Copen, and because of that, you got fine on the ULEZ, even though they are exempt.
The rest are all exempt. She's not, because she was in the country before they did the tests. So,
you can't beat the government.
No.
I love the colour though. I've always wanted a yellow car just because they stand out. But it looks very nice with the red interior.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Were these sort of a sister car with the Suzuki Cappuccino?
Yeah, Suzuki Cappuccino. This was a little bit later. The Cappuccino, the Honda Beat.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had all of those. Of course.
That was going to be my next question, actually. How many of those have you had as well? And
yes, I do have a Mini.
Yes. Oh, yes, you do have a Mini. A Radford Mini.
A Radford Mini.
So.
But this was a later Radford Mini. It cost the guy in, whenever it was, late 80s, it was £35,000, which was a substantial amount of money.
35.
That's what it cost him to have it done, yeah.
And so with that, you got the body kit, the tuned engine.
Tuned engine, everything, yes.
That's a staggering
amount. It does go like stink. Well, absolutely, it is a staggering amount. And you'll notice the sort of extra locks and things on her, because he lived in London. It was parked in the street.
Oh, people are always trying to
nick it and things.
Just look, these locks actually. They look slightly like. They have Yale.
Yeah,
they have
Yale locks, literally. So separate Yale locks.
That is everything up here, then, isn't it?
That's everything up
here. That's everything. So that is it this week. Thank you very much to Jane Weitzmann here for allowing me to look around her beautiful collection. It was an incredible day out, even for me, but a petrol head paradise, I think.
My pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you again next week.